What's up, everybody, and welcome to Rusty Fenders. Today we're gonna be working on this Artcore. It's an Ibanez vintage series, I believe they're called. And I bought it used, and straight up I could see there's some weird things. So even though I believe the sticker is aged, I don't think that solder is supposed to be there. And we got a third-party bridge, third-party pickups, and looks like the string spacing is all wrong because that one doesn't have any guides, and we have a bunch of wires just hanging out. So I wanted to make a quick video of tackling this guitar, even though I usually don't work on hollow bodies. I do have a hollow body, which is my first guitar. I'll show you in a moment the problems of these guitars, which basically is that it breaks. So you can see there it has a little crack there. It breaks right there with any drop or fall, which, you know, my Telecasters survive a bunch of falls. So as you can see, that's exactly where they break. On my original one, which is one of my first guitars, I was able to fix it. It is still working, so I guess it was a clean break. Another thing that I hated was just those knobs. I really hated it. I'm gonna get some black ones. Honestly, I can't stand them. So yeah, as you can see, somebody just used the existing cable to solder new pickups to it, and I would say they did a pretty bad job. It was just with all that wire hanging around and moving around. You could actually hear it vibrate because it's touching like everywhere. These guitars do have an area where you can anchor the cables. You just have to find the anchor and put them back in, which is hard because you can't really get your hands into this guitar. You better have skinny hands, which I don't. So I decided to go ahead and get all the wiring out of this guitar and install this pickup a little more professionally. I'm not gonna say that I'm the professional on it because, like I said, I mostly just do Telecasters, which is two cables. So gonna get this out and gonna take a quick look and see if I should just get some pots. And I thought that might as well, while I'm in here, if I'm gonna have to do all this from scratch anyway, I might as well just get some pots, reuse the switch, and rewire this guitar. And to be honest, I wish that I wouldn't have done that. It is a little problematic in the spacing of everything. So the first problem that I'm getting at is the neck pickup harness. Even though it's like the good length, right? So I measure it just by eye, and it was supposed to go over there. But there's a piece of wood in between, so it has to go down, and then it depends on where it's facing, like the switch is facing. So you have to, I needed like an extra inch, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to get that neck harness to work. So I actually had to create an extension from it. So yeah, I know it already had an extension, and I just made another extension, but my extension actually was pretty good. I did it off camera because if I made this video with everything that happened, it would have been like an hour video. So I am gonna fast forward this part just to get through it. But I did make a few mistakes, and I think the most major one is that, again, the wiring was too tight. So even though everything was measured and I used the holes as the template for the box to put everything in place, I forgot how you basically have to put them in, which you have to put them in through a hole, right? Through the F hole or through the pickup hole. And by having a little bit more wiggle in the cable is going to be easier for you. So I was able to get everything in, and I used the string method, which is you put a string to the hole and then you catch it. It's pretty easy. And then you tie a knot to the knob and then pull it so that the knob you only have to do that in the very farthest down hole because your hand doesn't get there to hold the pot while you put the washer. So that's what people do. They just use a string, and it works pretty well. But yeah, that's what you get with, you know, this type of design, which is a very old design. I think by now they would have created another method, but who am I to say that? You know, I'm no engineer. So I am getting everything together. Everything is looking pretty clean, and I'm also about to make another mistake, and just a moment. So that switch is just complicated because see how the illustration has that switch. My switch is totally different, right? So is like the ground is right on the top there. The three connections are on the side of it instead of under it, kind of. So I had to kind of guess where some things were supposed to go. I do like that I took my time to get everything clean and work on it, so I know that these connections are going to be good. But again, leave more cable. Give yourself an extra inch to whatever you were thinking of doing. And the neck pickup, that was just the size that it came from factory, right? I'm not sure where these pickups are supposed to go. They're the distortion series. I'll put it on the screen so you'll know the pickups that I'm talking about. They sound pretty okay, they have like a stupid amount of gain, so they are great for distortion. I guess that's why they call them distortion. But I'm more into a traditional pickup sound, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep these guys. I'm gonna try to fix the original ones. They might be beyond fixing because the person just cut them right at the metal. So there's no cable to make an extension on the original pickups that have that aged look to them, which I really liked. And I really like the hardware. The hardware, looks pretty cool. That aged nickel. So not everything in the guitar has that aged nickel now, because the bridge I also had to change. So let me show you real quick one thing that I would say was a mistake, and I want to show you my mistake. So if you see that plastic connector at the left at the end there with the two cables, so pretty much I put those guys to test it, and then they went all the way back in and I can't reach it. So yeah, I just have to find like a hook or something, get that out, and then make the real cable connection to the bottom part of the bridge, which gives the ground to the strings. So I also took a Stratocaster switch selector because it was black, and I just made a hole and thread, and it works. It looks kind of weird though. This bridge was the one that I found online. I'll put it over here so you can see which one I got, but it's just a cheap one. I did made a modification to the rosewood base. The spacing was a little bit off, but this does have the correct string spacing, and with the Loctite in place, I pretty much minimized the rattling that usually goes in with these cheap ones with the screws, because there's like nothing holding it and the screw is just like vibrating. Now the strings are in the correct location on top of the poles of the pickups, which before it was way off because that rosewood bridge that it just had no groove for it. And I just thought for like $15, I might as well just get something that's more stable. You can also feel the string moving back and forward. So far I think the guitar looks pretty cool. I do not like the warm part of it. I'm not a fan, but I have to say that if you find one of these used and it's in okay shape, if it's not modified like mine, if you find it like for $300, I think it's a pretty cool guitar. It's not a semi-hollow and it's not a full body. It sits right in the middle. It's just a little bit bigger than a semi-hollow body guitar. So I think they make cool guitars. Like if you're into Rancid, this looks like a Rancid guitar to me. With everything blacked out, with the switch tip, the pots blacked out. I think it's a pretty cool guitar. So I'm gonna go and test the pickups and see if I like them. You know, like I said, I'm not that much into heavy distortion, but maybe they sound okay. So that's gonna be it for me today. Make sure to subscribe and click like. Cool and out.